Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 531. We are live tonight. It is Wednesday, May 31st. I'm Lucas, and I am joined tonight by Phil.
Episode 531. More like episode 530 fun.
There you go. Yes. Yes, the less people, the more fun, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I'm just going to sit and stare at a toy in my lap the entire time, so it's even more awkward.
Oh, there you go. Oh, no,
Yeah.
Actually, if you could actually transform it and make sure that you hit all those ratchets right next to the microphone.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh, listen to that puppy.
There you go.
Yes.
That looks like a fancy toy there.
Yeah, and he was my most recent Transformer acquisition, so I have a bit of a story for Ouch tonight, and a toy that I have that I've had for a month or so that I will talk about, but my story is somewhat more interesting.
Well, there you go. So yeah, so tonight, it's hard to make all the schedules work. We've got cast members doing other things, and just couldn't coordinate the nights. So just us tonight. So just gotta deal with it.
Yeah. Yep. We don't have a topic either, so this is just going to be weird.
No. Right. Yeah. Well, I was considering doing we did a spoilers where we just kind of talked in general about what we think about spoilers, and then I was thinking maybe we do a prediction show, but I don't know. Maybe we do it next week because I know. So next week I know we're not doing a show on Wednesday because that's when the movie comes out, and I personally have tickets for the Wednesday night showing. I don't know about you, Phil. Are you ready to?
I'm doing Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not that diehard of a fan that I'm seeing on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that they just happen to have those showings here. Wednesday worked out and all that. So actually my local, in my area, we actually have a local Transformers group. We've not been all that active post-COVID. But yeah, we're actually getting together to watch the movie. So we've kind of done that every time the movies come out. So that should be fun.
Yeah, same here. The local Transformers group. So some of the cast members on there, Sergio, I think will be there. I think Paul will be there. So we didn't see Bumblebee together because Bumblebee, remember, had that month early, premiere kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of guys were able to make it to that, and I wasn't. So I think I saw Bumblebee was just me and Sergio, but it was about 6 of us that saw last night together. And so, yeah, for those of you who have been to TFCon, we're going to be at the movie theater a stone's throw away from the hotel for TFCon.
So there you go.
Yeah. In which case, I hope to be fairly inebriated before the movie.
Yeah, that's the question with that is I think didn't Paul say that he wanted to kind of have one showing where just kind of go in it bright-eyed, and then another one where he's like, I'm gonna have throw back a couple drinks before.
I think that was me that said that, because I will likely see it twice that first weekend, because I'll see it once with the Transformers group, the local Transformers group, and then I'll see it again likely with my son. So this is the first summer where my son's just like, yeah, we're going to go see these movies. So tomorrow night, I'm going to go see Spider-Man with him and one of my friends. So that'll be kind of interesting. So we got Spider-Man, then Transformers, and then I don't think he cares much about the Flash. He really doesn't care about Indiana Jones. So I just think Spider-Man and Transformers for the start of the summer, and then I'm sure the Ninja Turtles movie he'll want to see that at the end of the summer.
Well, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of movies because, like, we had the D&D movie that come out, so we saw that, and then we actually just recently saw the Mario Brothers movie.
Okay.
And then Guardians, yeah. So
yeah, I took my son to see Mario Brothers. I don't know, he probably liked Dungeons and Dragons, but me not kind of knowing much, going into that, he's still a little bit on the younger side where it's like I kind of want to see a movie first. I'm kind of glad I didn't take him to see Guardians because that's one of the more violent Marvel movies out there. There's a fight scene in Guardians that to me was very reminiscent of a Transformers, like Revenge of the Fallen fight scene, where there's not blood, but it's like robotic fluids being, sprayed across the screen.
Yeah, what's funny is like I've taken my kids to, or at least my oldest, to pretty much all the Marvel movies, and so I just bought the tickets without even thinking about it. And then I heard like the night before that some of my friends are like, "Oh, I heard that it's actually a pretty dark movie, and that it was pretty sad." And I'm like, "Oh crap! Like, what did I do?" But I don't know. I just sat down with my kids and said, "Hey, like, this is what it's going to be like. Just prepare yourself, for it." So, but I don't know. I know, like, I took my oldest to when Last Night came out. How many years ago was that again? Is that 7? I had to look it up.
So 18 was Bumblebee, right? So that was 5 years ago. So yeah, I'd say about 7 years ago.
I think it was 7 years ago. Yeah. So I took him in. He saw it in the theater, so I think he was like 5 at the time.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, the Transformers movies, I don't worry about taking him to. For a while, my older son, didn't want to see movies in theaters. They were too loud. So we'd always go to the cheap theater where it was not the crazy, insane sound system. So, but over the last couple of years, he's okay with the giant, bombastic movie theater sound.
So Ron said he's planning on taking his kids to the drive-in Friday night. I have trouble with that just because the starting of the movie is so late. And Ron, I don't know how old your kids are, but like I've had trouble with that. It's like I think my kids might be old enough now to be able to make it through a drive-in movie, but like that's the thing that's tough, because you can't really start it till like 9:00.
Yeah, my son, if I let him, he would stay up till 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think every night this weekend he was up till at least 10 o'clock, probably 11. So we got a projector right before COVID hit. So we were doing, especially during COVID, doing movies on the garage door. And so this weekend was the first time I pulled that out for the year, and we did Jurassic Park. And again, little frightening at times, a few jump scares in there. So I warned him about it, but he handled it pretty well. So, and then my 3-year-old came out too and watched it, and we're just like, all right, screw it, we're gonna let this happen. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, and of course the last like 3 nights he's woken up in the middle of the night and come to our bedroom. So coincidence? I'm sure just a coincidence.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway. So, do we have any Transformers news this week?
We got
spoilers coming out with the movie, I guess.
We got a toy leak like last night / this morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name. Shadow Striker, correct?
Right, Shadow Striker. Yeah.
And I don't know. General consensus seems to be a bit disappointed.
Well, the thing I thought was really funny about that is apparently whoever had posted the photos, or like originally, I guess that TFW had gotten the photos from, I guess, like was posting on our TF Talk saying, "Hey, how come you didn't credit me for posting these photos?" And I'm like, wait, so now the guys that have these stolen toys are wanting credit for the photos that I mean, hey, good on them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there was the maybe not obviously, but there was the incident several years ago with the guy who was posting leaked photos with watermarks on them, and he was trying to like either use that as a way to deter people from spreading them or not let other people take credit. I forget what sort of twisted logic this guy had for doing that, but um, yeah, there's a weird incentive structure in that community of people who get these toys early and how much notoriety they want to have for having them.
I will say this particular like group or individual, whoever, like I don't believe is associated anyway with the other guy. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, it's Sonic Bomber Core is the Facebook like person or whatever, that has a satire parody page, I suppose, on Facebook. So just a FYI. So
Yeah, and Ron just mentioned something that I saw just before we came on air, and I didn't realize that was a Transformer, but Takara doing a crowdfunding of an Optimus Prime with a Toyota Luna Rover. I thought that was like when I just literally saw the pictures like 3 minutes before we came on, and I thought that was some third party thing. So it sounds like this is actually officially Takara and some sort of not HasLab because it's not Hasbro, it's Takara, but some sort of Kickstarter crowdfunding type project.
yeah, so I just saw that too. So I guess that Takara is getting in the game of the crossover figures, huh?
Haven't they been in the game of the crossover figures? I thought. I mean, when you think about
I'm
it, like
sure.
that's what MPs kind of are. Um, the MPs where they're licensed with the toy with the car maker.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got
I
a little bit
suppose
of that.
that's. I suppose
Yeah.
that's true. But like,
Um,
what I think of the Hasbro, crossovers.
yeah, but those are more pop culture things where
Yeah.
it's the DeLorean and the although you do have Lockheed actually on the box for the X Pants. And I'm assuming DeLorean DMC had to give the thumbs up for Gigawatt. I don't know if they had to get any licensing for Ectotron. And I think, yeah, they had to get licensing for JP93. He's licensed through Ford, I believe. So, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I mean
oh,
they
yeah,
have
the
done other
cameras.
crossovers before. I mean, and like we talked about, like I think the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, I think like figures, like they've done some other music ones. Like Ron said, they just did the cameras. So yeah, I mean they
Yeah.
have done plenty of other like crossover type of things. I don't like have they done a crowdfunding crossover though? I,
I can't remember them doing any. No, the crowdfunding, they do crowdfunding on who's the Green Fortress Maximus guy? Um, the the
Green
Japanese
Green Fortress
Grand
Max? You mean Grand
Maximus.
Max?
Yeah, Grand
Yeah,
Max. Didn't they?
he's not
Wasn't
green.
he going to be crowdfunded?
He was
And that was
crowdfunded, yeah.
yeah, and that's if we got to a certain point, we would have gotten another little pretender dude. So that was, but we never got to that point of funding to get the little pretender shell guy for the
Right.
little Titan Masters or whatever those were. Um,
Yeah. Which
yeah,
ironically it would have easily funded probably in this day and age because they would put it up on Hasbro as well and
yeah,
you know. So
yeah. So that'll be interesting to see if this does pop up somewhere on Hasbro or if it's just going to be Takara.
I
Um,
would think so because they've offered every Takara like they just put it in the black box and whatever, right? So I don't
yeah,
know, we'll see.
I don't
But
know,
yeah, so it
but
looks like it is 11,000 yen. I think is what it looks like.
you can do that conversion in your head, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the dollar is pretty strong against the yen actually right now.
yeah.
So it
Uh,
actually is normally be like $100, but yeah, like I think nowadays it was I think it's only like about $80 now. So there you go.
I mean, that's not bad. if it's
Well,
MP
plus shipping.
scale, well, yeah.
So,
So I was thinking, like, we don't have to do necessarily. So this is sort of cheating, not necessarily doing predictions, but over unders on. So we can do instead of doing predictions of like plots and that sort of thing, we can do over under on numbers for Rise of the Beasts. How does that sound?
okay. I've
So
not prepared at all for this, so I don't
no, and
know.
that's fine. That's fine. I think top of your head will be more fun. Over under on Rotten Tomato score.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with a 50.
Oh, so you're gonna go right down the middle. Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna shoot a little bit higher, and I'm gonna say this will probably be 70.
Really? You think it's gonna be that high?
So if you remember, like the Rotten Tomatoes thing is binary. It's not like is it
Oh,
four
if it's
stars?
yeah, true.
Yeah. So if someone gives it 2.5 or 3 stars, I still think that counts in the positive category.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just maybe it's just the homer in me of being like oh, I think this will be good. But yeah, I'm gonna say about 70 on the over there. That'll be at 70.
All right. Now, what was Bumblebee again? I can't remember. What did we say for baseline?
I thought Bumblebee was in the high 80s.
Was it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like that. So there you go. We'll have to see who's right and wrong when the
Yeah.
reviews come out next week.
What do you think the weekend domestic box office will be? Well, let's not get into foreign and all that sort of thing. Where do you think they'll come in at?
Just domestic. Um, I'm gonna go with straight 100 million. I feel like it's probably
Yeah.
we'll probably do more than that, but I don't know.
See, I don't know. I'm more as much as I'm optimistic about the movie itself, I'm pessimistic about the box office. I think that first weekend it's going to grab like maybe 90 million
Okay.
because Spider-Verse is coming out this weekend. You just
Right.
had Little Mermaid, so and then you got Flash the next weekend. So it's sort of like one of these deals where I think people are going to be like maybe needing a break or taking a break from the movie, and Transformers might be that break.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Little Mermaid, I think, did over 100 million domestically.
It did, but that was a
So
Memorial Day weekend,
true.
so you get
Yeah.
the extra day. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't know.
have to see. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, if I feel like if they don't do 100 million, it's going to be in trouble because. I mean, I think they're pretty much hoping this is going to be another $1 billion thing, right?
Well, so that was going to be my next question. Do you think it'll crack 1 billion in total?
I don't think so. No.
I have a harder time answering that question. You know, the fact that they premiered it in Singapore this week to me says, all right, they're banking on this getting a big foreign box office push, which the movies in general have. So if you include foreign and domestic, will this crack 1 billion? I'm leaning towards yes, especially if it turns out to be good and you get maybe some. So I don't think it'll have a great opening weekend, but I think it might have longer legs than some of the other Transformers movies have had.
Let's see. What was. I'm looking up Bumblebee because I can't remember the box office gross for Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm thinking that it. Okay, yeah. See, I think it's going to be more like 700 million. That's my prediction. So Bumblebee gross was 470 million. It looks like the last night, which I think was like somewhat of a failure, was 600 million.
Was
Age of
that
Extinction and like the other ones, I think were like crossing the billion threshold.
okay?
So
So we haven't crossed 1 billion since Age of Extinction. That I didn't realize that. So
yeah,
okay, yeah. I don't know. Age of Extinction. obviously had the big China push there. They had the big scene in China. They had the scene in Chicago that they said was China, but it's actually Chicago. The end fight scene, you can literally see the Sears Tower, even though it's in the background at one point, even though it's supposed to be in Chicago. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be in China. Every time I pass that, this like old like silo, industrial silo setup thing. It's right off of the highway, off of I-55 as you're heading into the city from the southwest suburbs. You go right by it. So yeah. That had a big China push.
Yeah, I will say I could see this doing huge numbers in China, because because I think they've lifted all their COVID restrictions now at this point, and I don't know that it. I don't know. I haven't been following it closely enough to see if they have had like a huge movie over there since then, but I feel like this is kind of the movie that could be pretty big over there.
Yeah, and Ron did bring up a good point that they've been doing way more promotions on this than they did for Bumblebee. Yeah. Bumblebee, they kind of just like, all right, let's put this out there and see how it does. We don't want to spend a ton of money on it. Whereas this, I mean, you had Super Bowl ads, you had other tie-ins to NFL where they had, Optimus Prime and Primal like in the end zone, like what is that, 5 months before the movie was coming out. So yeah, Paramount has put a good amount of money behind this, and I think we are in this new environment now with Paramount where they are trying to make the Transformers like a pillar of their whole media empire there. So that, again, might be a bigger push.
Well, I'm kind of curious too. Are they expecting that Into the Spider-Verse movie to be a global phenomenon as well, or is it kind of skew more towards the U.S.? Like I don't recall the previous one. I know that it was huge. If it was like kind of as big overseas as it was here.
So just the premise of this movie has even a more global kind of cast. Because in the first Spider-Verse movie, you had Miles and Peter Parker, and both Peter Parkers, and then you had Spider-Gwen. So then you had the Japanese Spider-Girl with her robotic spider. You had Nicolas Cage as Spider-Noir. You had Spider-Pig. I feel like I'm forgetting one there. But so you kind of scratch the surface a little bit of the whole big Spider-Verse thing. This movie, if you've seen the trailers, it just blows the door wide open. And so there's an Indian Spider-Man that's in this. So, and he's not been featured so much in the trailers, but there's been posters and other things. Like there's specifically a poster for the Chinese market that makes all the spiders almost look like characters from a Monkey King sort of storyline. And, I think they are giving this a pretty big international push. Spider-Man being a U.S. character, being, New York-based kind of thing, that certainly grounds it more here in the United States. But just from the nature of having a gajillion spiders, it's almost going to be like the Gundam cartoon where every country is going to have their own spider.
But, yeah, I mean, I do agree with your earlier point about the fact that this is, kind of sandwiched in between that and The Flash does kind of hurt it a little bit. So I don't know that, of course, I don't know historically how many people have seen, Transformers like multiple times, if you really have to worry about that or not. But
I got a feeling Transformers will not make as much opening weekend, but its drop off will not be as severe as maybe like The Last Night was. So again, because that's my prediction is that it's going to be good, and it'll have some word of mouth, and it'll get some, people saying, hey, let's go see this, and it being summertime, maybe they don't go see it opening weekend, but hey, you got the whole rest of the week with all the high school kids and college kids will be out, and what the hell else are they doing right now?
Right. Yeah, that is true. So
yeah,
but yeah, we'll have to see on that.
Yes, Aldrin, I am saying Spider-Man is going to be like G Gundam of Spider-Man movies. Like that is what I'm insinuating with this. I think I even kind of blatantly came out and said it.
So what other over-unders do we have for
Um,
how many explosions they're going to have?
no. Oh, I was thinking of one. All right. How many Transformers have we not seen in the trailer yet? Do you think we're going to get?
I mean, it's probably a fair amount, to be honest. Like, um, I don't know, like 10.
Okay. What makes you say that? I'm curious. I wasn't going to go that high. What makes you say 10?
I mean, I feel like we still haven't seen a fair amount of the villains. Like, I think we've seen all the heroes, for the most part. But and maybe there could be some other ones, but I just feel like there's going to be more villains. Maybe I'm
Okay.
wrong.
So like named villains or like the different designs for the army of little bad guys that we saw on some of the trailers.
Oh yeah, I'm saying like both.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm more along the lines of like 3 or 4. Maybe 1 or 2, Maximal / Autobots, and maybe 1 or 2, Predacons, Decepticons, Terracons.
although theoretically we should know all this, right? Because like we should have leaks for everything at this point, right?
Movies are always kind of tricky because sometimes they don't want to leak stuff. Because remember, before Bumblebee, we didn't. I mean, you had that early release of Bumblebee that
Right.
everyone saw, and they saw the first 10 minutes, and then you got, hey, here's RC, here's all the Seekers, here's Brawn, here's just so many of the Cybertronian dudes. But that was the Bumblebee movie didn't have the same kind of build up like this did, so we didn't have that many toys in the toy and the toy shelves at the time. But yeah, I mean, it's still a movie, and so you still sometimes get stuff held back until after the movie comes out, so that it's like, oh, surprise, this dude was in it, and you didn't expect it, and we kept it hidden from you. So I don't know.
I can't remember what's the villain that's the truck in this movie.
Scourge.
Scourge, yeah, we've already seen. Have we already seen Scourge? Like, I don't think we've actually seen his robot mode, have we?
Yeah, we've seen Scourge. We've
Did
seen
we?
Battle
Okay.
Trap. We've seen Nightbird.
Okay. Yeah.
We've seen the little Freezer. We've seen him running around. I think we saw Scorponok. Obviously we saw Unicron. So yeah, we got those, kind of 5-6 bad guys running around. That's where I think we won't see that many more new ones that we haven't seen.
Yeah, you make a good point. I think we could probably see some like background ones, so that way my
Yeah.
prediction can be correct. That'll be like, oh yeah, there you go,
But
random
like if we
unnamed Decepticon number 3 over there.
if we get like some flashback on Cybertron, yeah, maybe it'll be like the Bumblebee scene where we see a dozen different characters that will come out later on from Studio Series.
Yep.
Do you think we'll see Rat Trap?
That's a great question. I would think so. I mean, I don't know. Like they have most of the other Maximals, so
Yeah.
So.
All right. How many lines do you think Rhinox will have?
Oof. One.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, will he be like Hound has been, where he's just kind of yelling random stuff as he's punching Decepticons, maybe? Or are they just not going to have that? I mean, he's the
No, I think
reason I
that's
asked.
going to be exactly it.
Yeah, because he's kind of like the least, famous voice actor they have there for him. So yeah. Any over unders? Any like kind of simple questions from your side?
So, How many Decepticons do you think that we'll see?
Ah, that's a good one. Like, will we even see Decepticons?
Right.
I'm thinking at least one. I'm thinking at least like Starscream or something with Megatron. We get one of those two somehow playing into this. Maybe not like maybe that's an end credits thing. I know there's already talk of like end credit stuff, and please don't comment in the chat here if you've seen it or whatever or read those. We want to kind of keep the spoiler free, but yeah, I would imagine that we're going to see at least one Decepticon, like, and one of like the big 2 or 3. So Shockwave, Megatron, or Starscream.
How many seconds? Or I guess I didn't give my prediction on that.
All right.
I guess I'll go over under. Yeah. What did you say? 1?
I said 1. So when you're doing over under, you got to do.
I guess I'll go.
I'd say
3.
1.5.
I guess
I'll say
I'll go
1.5
3.
under. Okay. All right.
How many seconds will Unicron be on screen?
I'm thinking we're going to get Unicron on screen for maybe 3 minutes.
Oh, see, I don't think it's going to be that much time.
Okay.
Like, I think it's going to be, like, maybe 30 seconds, maybe.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be where they're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe have a flashback, but then I don't think it's going to be a significant part of the plot.
So I have sort of 2 follow-up questions to that. Do you think we will see any version of Unicron's robot mode?
I think yes.
Okay. And then will we get a Unicron Rise of the Beast toy?
Oh, that would be hilarious if we got a Unicron that they like repainted the HasLab on.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, I would think they'd have to do new. I mean, you'd think they'd have to do smaller scale. It's not. It can't be the size of that, because if they do it based for a movie, then you'd think they'd want it more mass release.
I don't think so. I mean, I suppose you could see them in the future doing a Unicron that's like a Titan class one. That's like maybe like half the size. But like, I feel like that would still be a tough thing. Like with the HasLab coming out, I just don't know that there's like money in that, because there's no way that Hasbro, outside of that Titan price point, like they're never going to release like something else that is more expensive than a Titan class, like outside of HasLab.
Yeah. So what about? I just thought of this. What if they do? Like they just put out last week, I think, on Pulse, and showed it off for the first time, the auto transforming Optimus Primal. What if we got an auto transforming Unicron?
Oh, there you go. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, because I mean, now if he's going to be in the movie, and if he's going to have a robot mode in the movie, that's like floodgates open for every rinky-dink size class that they do for movie toys. We could have Unicron like in 20 different size classes there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember they did a Unicron, I think, with like a smaller deluxe one with the oh gosh, what was the TV
Cybertron show? Transformers Cybertron got like Unicron, where he had like a little spaceship, crab shaped spaceship sort of thing, and his like face was missing off in the robot mode, I think, right? Or did he have his full face? Maybe that was the different thing, that he didn't have his full face.
I think there was another one with the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters. I think there's a version with that, wasn't there? Or am I thinking of?
There was the Takara version that never came out in the U.S. of the Beast Hunters Megatron. I'm sorry, Transformers Prime Megatron. Sorry, Transformers Prime Unicron where Unicron turned into the Mountain. But that was, like I said, not released here in the U.S. and very, very stylized.
Yeah, to look it up.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There was some toy of Unicron that came with like a Unicron head.
It might have been the Cybertron one. It might have been the one I
Okay.
was thinking of. Yeah, there was a Supreme Class Cybertron Primus.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that one the one you're thinking of?
Oh, is that the one that came with the Unicron floating head that had like the little tentacles and was missing part of his face? Okay, that's where that Unicron head comes from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for as big of a character as he is in terms of Transformers lore, he's had relatively few toys.
Right.
I get it. He's gigantic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's the thing that's hard to do. So, anyway.
But even then, you could have, again, smaller versions. Like, Hasbro doesn't care about scale when you start doing the smaller, kid-friendly stuff. Although, and I don't know how much of a planet is attractive to kids.
No.
So, my son they did these blind bag little PVC Transformers toys like 5 years ago. That was like the second RAD cartoon. These came out with a lot of those characters, and there's a Unicron that comes in that. And my son
Tiny Titans.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like this big knife, and my son's like, Unicron doesn't have a knife. Why does he have this? I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's a toy. Who cares? It doesn't even move.
Also, Phil, I want to mention, you're forgetting the COVID years. It actually came out in 2016, so that's 7 years ago, not 5.
For what?
For the
last
Tiny
night?
Titans Unicron.
The Tiny Titans. Okay.
Yeah, you said it was 5 years ago. It's actually 7 years ago.
So he got it 5 years ago then. And my wife
that could
got
be.
Yeah, my wife got a bunch of them for like birthday goodie bag things, and so
Right.
I think she was finding them on clearance.
Oh, now that could totally be true. Or you found it at like whatever Dollar General or something like that.
Yeah, Five Below, Dollar General, that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think she was just grabbing all those little like rink-a-dink things that she could for goodie bags because he had a Transformers themed birthday party when he turned 5. Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Now the theme, did he actually pick like a specific character that he wanted, or like?
So we did. He was really big into Optimus Primes with wings at that time. So like there's like a surprising amount of Optimus Primes with wings. So I found him like the Heroes of Cybertron, God Bomber Optimus Prime, Jinrai Optimus Prime that, is like this big, and his pieces all come apart. Like I had never had one of these toys before. And so I think it's clear plastic that's painted. And so it's meant to sort of come apart, and it does just like that. So that was his cake topper. And I don't remember why I did this. I think he liked Devastator at the time. I got him an Action Master Devastator, and those were his cake toppers. Was that, Super Optimus Prime and Action Master Devastator as his cake toppers, and then everything else was decorations. Was Transformers Prime, Optimus, and Bumblebee, like little like the fold out things where it's like you unfold it and it's like makes this 3D little table topper deal thing.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the general sort of mishmash. And then, the party favors were those Tiny Titans. I think we had a few bots that were in the mix in there too. So it was a menagerie of Transformers, source material.
Yeah, I know my kid, this was years ago. I think when he was around 5, he did a Transformers birthday party, but he wanted a Nemesis Prime birthday. And so, like, it was Transformers party favors are very easy to find, right? Like, you can always find those in the party aisle. But, like, a Nemesis Prime, like, and even back then, Like, I don't think that I think we've gotten more Nemesis Primes like subsequently since then, because this was probably like 6 or 7 years ago, when he had that. So yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, I didn't even bother with trying to like find commercial release stuff of some of the things. I just went to eBay and bought a few couple old vintage toys and put on there as a Cape Topper. So,
Okay.
and now I'm kind of like pissed because I think he lost a piece to his Action Master Devastator, and I think my hope is that eventually he'll sort of forget that toy's his and it'll make its way down to my shelf.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's like, well, it's a vintage G1 toy, and I like me them Action Masters, and even though it's Devastator and it's weird scale, it's still a vintage G1 toy, and it's not in my stuff; it's in his bin. That's not right. So I'm a selfish prick.
Uh,
So Ron's starting to get into, how long till we see Rise of the Beast Stratos toy, and then will he survive? So the second part of the question, I think we should hold off on, because that's getting in the plot points.
right.
And plot points I want to kind of maybe save for the next predictions. But will we see a Stratos toy? I think the answer is yeah. We'll see one. It's just might not be till Christmas time.
Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, do you think that the movie toys will have legs all the way to Christmas?
Um, it's one of those things that they're going to be doing still legacy stuff. So short answer is yes. And it might be, maybe it's not even Christmas, maybe it's next year. I think we will eventually get a Studio Series toy of every character that's in this. But remember, like, it took years for them to do Studio Series toys of all the Bumblebee characters. I get it, they didn't start, right away, but even Studio Series 86 is still trickling out characters.
Right.
So maybe Christmas time is too optimistic for that. Yeah, we know the runtime on it. What's the over under you think until we get the next Transformers movie after this? Not Transformers 1 animated, but what the sequel would be.
Oh, like
for this Rise of the Beast 2.
I mean, I would say it has to at least be 3 years, right?
I don't know. Those first Michael Bay movies, they were churning out like pretty fast.
Yeah.
Because those were 2 years apart for Transformers 1 and Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, I guess I could do 2 years. So you saying 2, I'm saying 3?
I'm not saying anything. I haven't made up my mind. You said at least 3 years, and you seem very confident about that. I'm just like, whoa, hold on. Maybe not. I'm just asking questions here, Lucas. Come on. Just asking questions. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose I could see it, but yeah, I'm gonna go with 3 years myself.
All right. I think that's a good over under. I would take the under on that, because it might be Paramount's plan to do live action animated, to keep this kind of constantly in there, just like what you have with Marvel being, the tent pole for Disney, where they're doing movies every year, multiple movies every year. So,
yeah, because I mean, unless they're doing a Star Trek movie again, which it seems like they've kind of cooled off on that, it's like outside of that, they, unless they, if they do another Top Gun movie.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you don't have to stroke Tom Cruise's ego that much to get him to do another one of those kind of things.
Right.
Like, I don't think he needs it. I don't think he's doing it for the money. I don't think he needs the money.
And he has
Any
a
other?
Mission Impossible movie coming out too this year, right? I don't know when that is.
Oh yeah, it's a part one. It's like I can't stand the
What?
Mission Impossible movies. Yes,
Part one? No, it's part 8 or something, isn't it?
right. But it's like so the newest Fast and the Furious movie is like a two-parter, even though it's like 10. Like this newest Mission Impossible is a
Oh.
two-parter, even though you're right. It's like the
Ah.
11 billionth Mission Impossible movie.
Okay. So they're gonna have a stupid cliffhanger?
I don't know if it's going to be a cliffhanger so much as it's going to be like some sort of continuation, of the story with this. Don't ask
That's
me.
annoying.
I don't know. I hate the Mission Impossible movies. I don't like most Tom Cruise movies these days.
Really?
The last Tom Cruise movie I think I saw that I enjoyed was Tropic Thunder.
Wow.
Yeah,
Not a Tom Cruise fan, huh?
no. I remember like people will talk up the Mission Impossible movies as like how great they are, how awesome they are,
Yeah.
and it's just like I can't suspend my disbelief with them. Like there's one where he's like running after this bad guy, and I think the bad guy was an older dude, and he's not able to catch him. Like Tom Cruise was just like walking up the wall of a building, and yet he can't catch this like old. I can't remember if the guy was an old guy or a young guy wearing an old guy bodysuit. Either way, Tom Cruise, like superb athlete that he is, all the rest of the movie should have been able to catch this guy in a foot race. Um, and then I really get perturbed with people like, oh, he does all his own stunts. Like he did all that stuff, like flying the helicopter. Like, okay, he learned how to fly a helicopter. That's kind of cool. Like, and he crashes the helicopter, but it's like that's still like a boatload of CGI. That's still just like it's not like he goes and crashes a helicopter and survives this helicopter crash, miraculously. It's like, no, this is all controlled. Is it dangerous? Absolutely. But it's not like he's this like he's not a human John Wick, a living John Wick where I don't know if you watch the John Wick movies, but that guy just gets like
Right.
knocked down
Right.
5 fire escapes and gets back up after brushing himself off. So, yeah.
Well, so I mean, so what you're saying is the Mission Impossible movies are not believable, but the Transformers movies are. Or is this just a different category of movies? So you're okay with that?
It's just a different category, but yeah, even the Transformers movies, especially the Michael Bay ones, are like no, like what is it in the Age of Extinction where they're crawling on those cables going from lockdown ship to the building? And it's like no, you're all gonna fall to your death. Like you're like squabbling over Mark Wahlberg and his daughter about her boyfriend or something as they're crawling over these cables. It's like no, you're all gonna die. So yeah, there's giant robot space aliens that beat the snot out of each other and want to conquer Earth or save it. I can believe that, but yeah, you bring humans into it, and I don't enjoy it. All right, Ron did bring up the Transformer. I'm sorry, a Tom Cruise movie I do like, Edge of Tomorrow, Live Die
There you
Repeat.
go.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm shocked they didn't make a sequel to that.
I thought they were going to. I thought they
Yeah, I thought that were. I
was
don't
in the
know.
works. Yeah,
Yeah, who
I don't
knows?
know.
Maybe it was just delayed with COVID. So
Yeah,
anyway, so well, I guess did we want to move on to do our oof, ouch, whatever we
yeah.
want to do? I know
I've
you're
got.
kind of
I can show one toy and tell a story.
okay. Sure.
All right, I guess I'll do my toy, and then you do your toy, and then I'll tell my story. And so I got a little Mellohawk guy here, and
Yeah, I
if
almost
you
kind of
ordered
forgot
him,
about him.
yeah, I think a lot of people kind of did, and I don't think I saw him on the toy shelf for the first time until a week ago. So that's kind of the weird thing with some of these figures is that if you order them, you'll likely get it in your hand well before they're hitting shelves, and he's not perfect. Um, I would have liked a little more metallic on the yellow here, um, but he's better than I thought he'd be. And even in jet mode, I like him more than I thought he'd be. He's a Metal Hawk's jet mode in general has always been kind of stupid, where it's very
Right.
just like a box with wings and a nose sticking out of it. And he does a better job than that. But I mean, for being a remold of Cyclonus, they did a fantastic job on this toy, I'd say.
Yeah, I actually got him a while ago, and I actually found him on the store shelves at a Target. Like, I think it was like one of those things where Target got it like super early,
Yeah.
or like one case of it or whatever. And I don't know. I for whatever reason it just did not connect. Like I think it's a well done toy, but it just didn't really connect for me where I was like super jazzed about it.
I like him way better than the Cyclonus that he's molded off of.
See, I really like the Cyclonus. My only thing, my favorite version is the toy Cyclonus, although like there's QC issues with that version, but like the look of it, I thought was really neat.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't run into QC issues myself, but I agree the toy version is better than the Kingdom version was.
Yeah.
But he's still not a sleek enough jet mode, in my opinion. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But so the toy that I was gonna show off was the War for Cybertron Bumblebee. Have you gotten this one
Oh,
yet, Phil?
I have not, but I've heard he's got some QC issues. Or I've heard one person with a QC issue, I should say.
So he doesn't really have any QC issues for me, but I was a little disappointed about it. So in general, I was not going to go in on these War for Cybertron toys because I'm like, okay, do I really need to go, whatever, do another line of whatever. But then everyone was going on and on about Optimus Prime, which I guess like I don't know if I showed off the Optimus Prime. Here's the Optimus Prime, and he is a really fantastic figure. And everyone is like just talked up like how great he is. So he looks really neat. He is miles ahead of the original Optimus Prime toy with that, and so like
I love that shade of red.
yeah, he is. So like I would say whatever, if you need your 500th version of Optimus Prime, here you go. So I got that, and so then I was like, oh well, I need a Bumblebee to scale with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the Bumblebee has been one where he's kind of gotten mixed reviews from people, and Christian told me not to buy him. And I probably should have listened to Christian on the Bumblebee because he is not as good as Optimus Prime, and it's just some weird design choices. I feel like with him overall, one of the things. So I feel like we're very spoiled with a lot of the mainline figures where they all have all the articulation. Like you've got your ankle tilt and all that type of thing. Whereas like these guys, like so Bumblebee has no ankle tilt. Or like when I should say he has weird, due to transformation, like ankle tilt out, but he doesn't have ankle tilt really in. And so that's just kind of disappointing to me. I suppose he has a toe pivot, but I just like the look of the, kind of the way that it looks to
Oh
me
yeah.
looks weird. I don't know, like it doesn't.
Can you?
So, and then also like he kind of has a little bit. I guess it's not too bad that you can kind of cover it up, but he has a little bit of a like hollow syndrome, going in here too.
See, what I don't like is the view you just held. You just showed when you held him up to the camera. There is that profile view of him just having that big gut, and in the backpack, I didn't realize how large that was. I know the first version toy of this guy has a little bit of that going on, but I don't think it's that bad.
And the other thing that annoys me in general about these Studio Series toys is so, every like mainline toy has had like 500 5mm ports to store weapons and things like that, and these do not like really have that. Like there is a spot like on the back where you can put the weapons in order to store them, but like one thing that's annoying with these weapons, there is like, now I realize the game that it was made so that you like kind of switch out like the arm cannon or whatever. So like it has a gimmick where you like can take the arm off or whatever to put the cannon on right? So like, I'm trying to remember which one. Yeah. So like each figure like has like one arm that can do that, right? So, but the thing that's frustrating, like with Bumblebee, is okay. So he has like this gun right here, right? And then he has another gun. So, but it's just like annoying, like with the storage.
Yeah.
And then there's no way to store the arm. So if you have the gun on, right? What do you do with the arm? You just have an arm sitting there. So like Optimus, there is a way to store his just kind of the way that he has a little these little things here, and those can like so then he can kind of put his arm on the back of his figure or whatever. But Bumblebee doesn't like the arm doesn't have that. And so I don't know of a way to store the arm. So that's the thing. It's kind of annoying, just in general. Like I feel like that it could have been a lot better. I don't necessarily say like, oh, this is a hot garbage figure. Like I don't think for the most part, like most figures are that bad anymore. But like, it's a little disappointing. And it's not. It's something where I feel like that. I definitely want to get Optimus and Megatron. But other than that, I'm probably going to be pretty picky with this line.
Yeah, it's interesting you said, like, oh, I got Optimus, so now I feel like I have to get a Bumblebee. To me, I felt like, oh, that Megatron looks really good, so now that makes me want to get the Optimus as well. I haven't seen anything else from, that line that makes me want to go and grab another. Um, I've got the Planet X Starscream, and I really like that. So even if they did another Starscream, I don't know if I would, feel a need to go out and grab one of those. I think I saved maybe Skywarp from the Seeker mold of those three. Not a bad mold. I just didn't need three of them. But again, the first time through, I thought they did a pretty darn good job. And then we've got a great third-party version. So, Barricade has got rabbit feet from everything that I've seen of him, so I don't really have any desire to grab that. And then, Cliff Jumper. I'm not a big fan of that Bumblebee design, so the Cliff Jumper design does nothing for me. So I don't know. The show it's not the show. The video game had some great designs, and I think there's plenty of characters that we didn't get toys of in the original, set of figures. So especially like some of the, aerial bots and Jetfire that were in the game. Those were really cool looking designs. I'd love to see some of those, or Warpath. But if they continue to do retreads of figures they've already done toys of, save my wallet some pain.
I mean, the thing is for these War for Cybertron figures, like the original designs I think were cool, but a lot of them just like didn't have very good scale. Like there's a lot of deluxe figures, in the line. So I mean that was part of the reason why I decided to get the Bumblebee, because like he's like kind of a big deluxe, the old figure, and so like this one, actually kind of scales better, and like, especially like with this, like the old one, I don't know where the heck it's at, but like, it's like I feel like Bumblebee and Optimus are pretty much the same size.
Oh yeah, Bumblebee's even bigger.
Like
his head's like twice the size.
Right. So like I think like this looks right, and that's kind of part of the reason I was doing that. So Ron is asking, are no War for Cybertron Cliff Jumper? I'm not gonna say never, because I feel like I may be a sucker for some of these Hasbro pulse sales. Like I feel like I'm trying to be a little bit better and not buy everything that's coming out, and I think that I'll probably just wait for, on some of these, if they go on the 30-40% off Hasbro Pulse, that I'll just get it at that time.
So that kind of ties into my story time here. I wanted to have a different toy that I brought up tonight that I just got today. Not the most new toy in the world, certainly, but still a newer figure nonetheless. And I was pretty happy with the price I got for him. And I'll back up a little bit. This is something that I, about a week ago, both Christian and another friend from my local text chain turned me on to this new sort of source for toys. And this is an eBay page, an eBay seller called Bullseye_Deals. And this is Target's sort of clearance of clearance. And when I say it's Target, it's not just I think it's Target. Like, I've ordered several things from there, and I've looked at where it was shipped from, and it is shipped from a Target warehouse. So yes, this is, for everything I can tell, this is some sort of subdivision of Target. Now, what these appear to be is toys, or not just toys. They sell a ton of stuff on there. These are items that look like they were returned. I can't tell if these were things that were, that they're just trying to clearance out, or it's just purely returns. But I've gotten 4 things from there in the last 2 weeks, which I think also says something about the amount of toys that I buy. And up until today, I was on a good track record. I got a NECA Aliens toy that the box I could see was messed with a little bit, but figure itself, great shape, everything sealed in there, no problems. I got a Into the Spider-Verse Cyborg Spider-Woman Marvel Legends toy. Figure, great shape, box a little jumbled up. So number one, if you're an inbox collector, don't buy from this site. You will not be happy with the box condition that it comes in. Number 2, pay attention to the listing, because the listings will say brand new, previously owned, or with Lego it says new other, and like that I don't trust in the slightest. So these appear to be, like I said, returns. I got Leo Prime the other day. Like, Christian sent me the link for Leo Prime, and I think Leo Prime was, including taxes, I think he was $24 for Legacy Leo Prime. Great deal. You're paying like old school deluxe prices for a Voyager toy. I've been holding off because not that enamored with them, but all right, for $22, sure, I'll pick it up. Get them today, had my first miss. Box obviously had been opened up. But not even that. That was the second thing I noticed. The first thing I noticed is that you couldn't even see the figure in the window of the box, because he was like tucked all the way down, because he had been taken out and just shoved back in the box. You could see all the little cords that are supposed to hold him in have been cut. And like, all right, that kind of stinks. I'll take some pictures of it. Maybe I'll get some money back, and because I'll say it's not brand new. Open it up. The figure looks in decent shape, but none of the weapons. Had the instructions, and of course it has the little dinky, like, little piece of paper with all the warnings on it that every single Hasbro thing has come with these days. But yeah, none of the weapons are in there. And so that was going to be a toy I was going to show off today and brag about a non-ouch that I got a good deal on it. But what I will say is kind of buyer beware with this. So I've already submitted an issue to the seller and see what they want me to do with it. And we'll see what comes about that. But yeah, just be cautious with this. There's some really, really good deals, but be cautious.
So my question with that is that, did the description say that it was incomplete, or did it say like how did they actually describe that?
It was described as brand new.
Really? That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah. And if you go and look at their complaints, they don't have a perfect record. Their record is like 98.4%. And they're selling in tremendous volume. But when you go and read the negative reviews, it's like, hey, yeah, this thing was not brand new. I don't know why you're trying to tell me this is brand new in the description. It is not. Christian's bought a few things from there, and he's had good luck with them. He's also had like weird shipping issues with them, where either the package that has been shipped in is way too small, or the package that's been shipped in is gargantuanly laughable large. I got 2 items from them today. One was A-OK, and one was no bueno.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they deal with your return though too, because like, I mean, I feel like it's not really worth their time to even have you ship it back and all that type of thing for it. So be curious to kind of see how that goes through.
Yeah, I am as well. So this will be this will be an interesting adventure. I will keep folks updated and what happens with this. I mean, if they make it easy and simple for me to return it and get my money back, still a place I'll probably buy from again. I ordered today a Marvel Legend from them, and their shipping warehouse is in Indiana, and so Leo Prime I ordered yesterday, so I got them next day, and I'm being told by tracking that my Marvel Legend figure I ordered today will be here tomorrow. I got a feeling it's going to be missing the Build-A-Figure piece.
Ha!
So yeah. So we'll see. I got a G.I. Joe classified toy today. That came fine. Everything looks good in there. It was Tiger Force Duke and his motorcycle.
Well, see, that's one
good.
thing that's kind of frustrating with that stuff too, where it's like if you have no idea, like if they actually take the time to describe it as it is, then that's one thing, right? So like if you order it and it's missing the Build-A-Figure piece, like okay, like that, like that makes sense. But like if you have no idea and it's just a roll of the dice, like that's a little frustrating. But I'm also kind of curious too, like how much effort that they have to put into like making these listings, right? Because like I mean, I suppose that it like makes sense and good on them that they're actually like trying to like resell some of this stuff,
right?
I guess, and not just, I don't know, incinerated or something like that. But
and several of the recent Target earnings calls have talked about theft being an issue for them. So I could see them saying, all right, let's take some of the stuff where returns, where you put the label on it like previously owned, just kind of give folks the heads up, like we're kind of rolling the dice with this a little bit one there. I can see that being an issue. But if you mark something as brand new, and Lucas, I'll send you the pictures, like this is obviously not brand new. Again, you can't even see the figure when you look at it because he doesn't, have the ties in there to hold him down anymore. So he's just sunk to the bottom of the box.
Right. But I mean, I'm sure that, the level of like care or whatever they're probably putting into this is not like probably the highest in general. I'm sure that they're like farming this out to whoever that's like kind of putting I'm sure they probably have some type of system to, put all this together. I'm just kind of somewhat surprised that they don't just like put this type of stuff back on the shelf, or else maybe they're not doing that anymore. Like, because didn't it used to be like with Walmart or Target or whatever, where say they'd have a return and then they might just mark it down like 30% or something like that, and like put it on the actual local shelf, right?
Yeah, and I've seen that even fairly recently. But maybe this is just a new way of doing it, where they're having the return theft. So instead of maybe having the in-store folks look it over, maybe you send it to a central site and they inspect it and then put up for sale like this. So I don't know. I'm sure they probably have multiple ways of doing it. But they use the stock images for the photos, so you're not even seeing the image of what the item itself is. It's just the stock image from Hasbro. So I'm batting 750. Just about everything I've purchased has been in the range of 35-40% off. So yeah, it is some good deals. And like I said, Cyberverse Cyborg Spider-Woman just started hitting shelves. The movie's not even out yet, and here she is, big hunk and chunk of a toy with an arm cannon that would make a Transformer jealous. Box was dinged up, but toy itself in great shape. So the Marvel Legend toy that I ordered today is like one of the new Avengers wave that's just starting to hit shelves. So, which again makes me think that might be something wrong with it, especially given the the way the boxes are with Hasbro now.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely clamoring for those window boxes to come back, and the plastic with the windows too. Just I saw a twin cast the other day in stores and his head was missing. So even with Transformers, where you can see the toy in the box, like it still allows for, tampering and stealing parts and all that kind of garbage.
I feel like it'd be somewhat hard to take off the head from twin cast, right? Like, cause how the heck do you? Cause it's not like just a ball joint, right?
I mean, when I saw it in the box, it was a ball joint that was just sticking up. So I don't know.
Maybe that one is a ball joint.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have either my blasters around handy. I keep forgetting that Shattered Glass Blaster. You got them right there behind you. I'm like, oh yeah, that
I
is a
guess I
cool
do.
looking toy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that one is a ball joint. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you have that Nemesis Prime. I guess you're showing off as well. Like, any
Yeah, I
other
showed that
thoughts
off a
on
few
that?
weeks ago. I like it. I
I
still
guess
haven't
you did.
transformed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't transformed them. I like them a lot. Um, just great presence. Um, I think deepdiscount.com has them for like 125 bucks, in which case that qualifies for free shipping. I'd say it's totally worth it. I mean, with what you're paying now for a, uh, you know, Transformer Carbot, Nemesis Prime, MPM Nemesis Prime is way bigger than that and just looks phenomenal. So, and yes, I think it was Ron that asked earlier if I'm going to be opening my MP44 Nemesis and this Nemesis, and the answer is yes. And I still haven't opened my Nemesis MP44, but I'll get to it. Whatever, don't shame me. I got stuff going on. I've got to
One
return
day.
toys. And another toy I was going to show today, I also had a small issue with. So another toy I thought I might show off today is I got the Super 7 Silverhawks toys today. The Wave 1 finally is hitting, and um, I ordered Quicksilver and Buzzsaw, and I was going to show off Buzzsaw today. Be like, hey, look, Super 7 can do a good robot toy. They just can't do good Transformers toys for some reasons. And they sent me Monstar versus Buzzsaw, which is like, that's a more expensive toy. And part of me kind of hopes they tell me just to keep it. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. I didn't order Monstar because he was more expensive because he's just like a gigantic figure. So I'm curious to see what Super 7's going to say on that.
Yeah, interesting.
And I would have opened him because he's a big robotic looking figure. And it's like, hey,
Right.
Super 7 can do this. But it's like, because they sent me the wrong toy and I'm going to message them, I don't want to like open something they're going to say, hey, please return it to us.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. My
One
son
thing
was
is.
just like,
Oh, sorry.
why don't you just keep it then if it's more expensive? And it's like, no, we have to do the moral thing here. And it's like, yeah, don't tempt me, kid.
um. One thing I think is kind of interesting with the Hasbro packaging, I don't know if you've gotten things from Pulse recently, but I've noticed they have this new. It's not like bubble wrap. It's like some type of a biodegradable stuff that they put around. It's like a paper kind of thing.
Yeah, it almost looks like paper chicken wire kind of deal.
Yeah, I actually thought
Yeah.
it seems really cool. Actually, I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. It's funky looking. And the first time I got it, I was like, what the heck is this? But um yeah, when I ship stuff, that's like one of the first things I grab to package stuff of the things I sell because it does do a great job. It's very lightweight. Um, I think a couple of things I've gotten from them, they wrapped a little bit too much of it in there, but whatever. It's still really, really good.
Well, I actually think it's like better because so in the past, I feel like a lot of the sales people they'll put like the like the bubble things or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so but like it doesn't actually cover all the toy, so it's just sitting there with it, right? Whereas
Yeah.
this new stuff that they actually like kind of wrap it all the way around the toy, so it seems like it actually protects it a little bit better.
Yeah, I think the best packaging material I ever got was some stuff I ordered right from the NECA store. And that like came in like a bubble that was like a bubble box. It was like a bunch of the little bubbles that basically made a box with a flap, and the toy box fit perfectly inside of that, and then that fit into the shipping box, and that was the best shipping stuff I've ever gotten. I would say this is second with that kind of cardboard paper wrap that they're using. And like you said, it seems biodegradable, so it's not like all this plastic that's just gonna end up choking a dolphin somewhere.
I mean, that is one thing that I, kind of like myself about the new packaging is the fact that, for me, if I'm ordering straight from Pulse, I can like go take the figure out, and then I can just take the entire container and just throw it in my recycling bin, and like that's that. Whereas like before with the plastic, and I understand like, it's annoying for store shelves and all that, but like, for me, it was annoying before that in order to put it in the recycling bin, it's like, I don't know. I'd always try to separate it out just because I know that it's going to cause issues otherwise if you don't like take the plastic off the paper.
Yeah, I was always bad about that. My wife was just scolding me for that the other day. She's like, "Do you think there's someone in their recycling center like taking all that plastic off?" Like, no, they're just throwing that away. You're just giving them more work, and you're not helping anything. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I try to tell my wife because, like, she would try to throw like plastic food stuff in the recycling bin. I'm like, you're not supposed to put that in there. And secondly, like most of the plastic is not even getting recycled anyway.
No.
Like a lot of it, even though it's technically recyclable, like they don't recycle it. So anyway.
Yeah, it's not worth the money.
Right.
Like it costs too much to recycle it, sort of thing, to break it down. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So yeah, we'll what we got book club at some point. People talking about books in a
I
club.
think once again they're not talking about books as it sounds like, right? They're doing. So I guess the book club on the 11th is going to be the Beasttown USA or Rise of the Best Beast, whatever.
Okay.
Kind of deal, right? I think book club this week, I guess, is what is it? The SGMF
Super God Master Force.
Okay. Super God Master Force episodes 1 through whatever they get through.
And I'm being a juvenile. Anytime I see MF as an acronym, I automatically think something else. So I'm glad I didn't say that out loud.
But there you go. That's good.
Yeah. Shattered glass. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if anyone else in the chat got some over-unders before we jump out of here for the week. Going once, going twice. I'm not even going to give you guys enough time to reply. I'm just going to cut it off before you can actually reply. So, that's all I got for tonight.
Keep it yourselves. But yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat. Had Zaldron and Ron and Catherine was in there earlier, and Duke Nukem was also a throwback on that name. So,
all right, everybody, smash that like. Right. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys, and
tell your friends.
Next week we'll have to figure out like when we're actually doing a show, so I'll have to figure it out with the cast, and then we'll post it up. So, all right.
Us nerds have nerd plans.
We'll see you.
Bye, buddy.